Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a game I have no respect for. So, I've been asked a couple of things off camera that I wanted to comment on. Because, first and foremost, I want to make something very, very clear. A lot of people don't seem to understand this concept. So, let's make this very fundamentally clear. I don't believe in the concept of sacred cows. Some people have tried to, gotcha me on this, and they have failed miserably. There are no such things as sacred cows. My often touted favorite game of all time is a game that I can and will give negatives to because it deserves them. Doesn't work that way. I just wanted to mention that because I've heard several people already be negative about me being negative. If you do not want to see me review this game, then maybe you should not watch the reviewer play the game. Second thing I wanted to comment on is actually this very save thing that's right here. So I had someone ask, what's my in-depth analysis of the save squares, which kind of threw me because it was such a weird question. It was like someone saying, hey, Laura, can you give me the in-depth analysis of the third sesame on that burger you had yesterday? It didn't even cross my mind to give any analysis on all these squares. It crew me so much, I decided to go ahead and do a little digging, and apparently there's actually quite a few fan theories and developer theories about these. Notice that the developers themselves do not agree about exactly what these squares mean, because of course they don't, because they don't mean anything. Let me tell you a little story. There's this man named George Lucas, right? Now, I've actually spoken positively about him several times, because, you know, he's a decent human being, and that's pretty rare in Hollywood, especially amongst rich people in Hollywood. But he does have one substantial, big, actual flaw. No, not his writing talent. Being a crap writer is not a flaw. That's a skill set, okay, and something he himself admits to. No, the flaw George Lucas has is for a while there, and some of you actually remember what I'm talking about, there was this phase where he was just kind of reinventing the Star Wars trilogy. And we never really know, we may never know if he was just straight up lying, or if he had kind of rewritten it in his head to make it a bigger deal than it was. But we could prove pretty factually that a lot of the stuff he was saying were just outright lies. The most infamous example is it was always intended to be 6 movies or 9 movies or whatever number he's using that particular day. Whereas we actually have tons and tons of info that the original movie was always considered and designed to be his one shot. It was never intended to be part of the franchise. Stuff like that, right? Things about, Luke and Leia always being siblings, or this was always Anakin's story. And given the fact that we actually know that Anakin was not originally Vader, stuff like that, right? You know, the original trilogy was set for theatrical release. It was no story. You get the idea. The point I'm bringing up here is this is a common trend even amongst people who are on the more decent side of things, that they just kind of mentally add significance after the fact, either because A, they're lying, or B, they're legitimately confusing it in their own head. They have drunk their own Kool-Aid, for lack of a better way to put it. So the fact that I've seen, because I decided to look into this, and I have seen quite a few interviews from multiple different developers, and of course the guy who voices James here, who talks constantly about this game off camera. By the way, he has tons of stuff where he will answer questions, give theories, and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, so all of them each give their own particular interpretation of the save squares and their significance. Do you see why I connect these two threads? I don't think these really have any particular significance. I'll tell you exactly what my analysis tells you about these squares. Good game design. No, I'm dead serious. You may or may not have noticed, because you don't give a damn about the review side of things, that I have not given a visual distinction negative. Because, and that's kind of strange in a game this gray and this blurry. Remember, we have a freaking cheat on in order to get rid of the film grain. This game has generally bad visual distinction, except when it comes to its actual game design. Something that's actually done quite well is it changes the layer, I want to say, on which it's rendering interactable objects. Someone who knows more about PS2 architecture can answer me on this, but you get what I mean, right? It's noticeably different because it's rendered differently, and the color distinction on objects you can interact with is very sharp, like these red squares. That's what these red squares symbolize. Someone somewhere decided, you know what, we need to make sure the players do not miss these giant red, the save points. So they made these giant red squares that are really easy to pop out on the background. Like, look at this shot right here. There's a little bit of color here, but your eye is immediately drawn to the red square. That's what the red squares symbolize. Boom. Any questions? Now. Moving on. Are. Stop! Leave her alone! Oh yes, and we have two pyramid heads now. Which makes sense. We have now killed 2 people. More than anything else, I would say this is the proof that Eddie actually existed, and wasn't just a figment of our imagination like some people say.
I was weak.
Yeah.
That's why I needed you. Needed someone to punish me for my sins. But that's all over now. I know the truth. Now it's time to end this.
So, something not a lot of people noticed, and I admittedly didn't notice it at first either. The rigging and build, I guess the mesh is what we would call that, of the pyramid head, is James. This is yet another reason why Pyramid Head being in any other game is just kind of eyebrow-raising. Because these things are literally James. They're James's own need to be punished for his misdeeds. What? Oh my god. What? True, Plutonia. And that brings me to something I'm going to talk about here, really quick. Something several people have talked about is how amazingly, awesomely incredible this game is. About how it is the greatest thing since sliced bread and the most horrifying horror game of ever to horror ever. Now, obviously, I didn't find this game particularly scary. If you want to see me be scared of the game, go watch my Subnautica run. But I think what we run into here is a double problem. Because on the one hand, Because on the one hand, I don't think any of the horrifying elements of this game were on purpose. Okay, I'm being exaggerative, but what I mean by that is there are several things that people list as like iconic aspects of the game. Like, oh my god, it's so significant that such and such happened, and it's so amazing that whatcha-fig happened, and this leads itself to the atmosphere of the game, and blah 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 blah. You get the idea. And based on my own evidence and lookings into it, the overwhelming majority of those things happened by accident. Just like Star Wars. The amount of things that became iconic to Star Wars in A New Hope that were not on purpose outweighs the stuff they did on purpose. Which leads me to the second thing I was going to say, because I would like to know, as a curiosity, for those of you watching this on the VOD or those of you watching this live, how many of you took that as a mild insult? Like, oh, this game didn't even mean to be this good. Because that isn't an insult. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means the game lucked into being good. It just means that thanks to problematic controls and difficulties with the PS2 architecture, and lack of voice direction, and lack of good localization, and standardized practices of how you render things, that the game lucked into being a good horror game. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh my god. I've suddenly forgotten how to move. And then we die. Jesus. Actually, yeah. Frankly, even MLP was actually very lucky. Oh, hey, the music's not playing now. That's actually funny. Oh, no, there it goes. How the heck am I supposed to kill these people? Hang on. I would agree with that, Blade Taval, because I don't particularly think this is a good game. As sacrilegious as that is to say, I stand by it. Oh, no, I absolutely have dinged the feedback. Because, yeah, I agree. The feedback is actively bad. There's more than one situation where I wasn't sure I was actually doing anything because the game was giving bad feedback, audio and visual. Hey, what, Triaxi, when I die again, you can give me advice. How's that sound? Misleading feedback. That's true. That is actually worse. I can reload an inventory instantly. I just keep losing track of my bullets. And we're done. They kill themselves because, again, they're just our own desire to be punished. They have punished us. We're done. Moving on. Yeah, sorry. Suicide. Gotta get that in there for the YouTubes. Yeah, honestly, this boss fight would have worked better, I think, if literally you weren't supposed to shoot them at all. You were just supposed to... Well, actually, what I would have probably done is I would have made this boss fight be one of the big things that decides your ending. Possibly the big thing that decides your ending. Right? Like, run away from them. I don't want to be, punished anymore. Or let them hit you, which then leads to the other ending, the water ending. Instead, it's just another boss fight. Always do regular saves. Or kill them and become the monster, which is actually the third ending. So yeah, there you go. There's the three endings in the interactions with this boss. Oh, right. Anyways, I have one more thing to say about the I don't think this is that good of a game comment. Actually, two more things to say about that, but we'll get there. Yeah, bullcrap. Darkrai. Absolute bullcrap. I've noticed that name came up a lot in interviews. Masahiro Ito. So I'm guessing, God damn it, that it's one of those situations where he's the one willing to talk to interviewers, right? Because that happens a lot, where there's this one person who's willing to talk to the press, and so they kind of become the source for a given game, even if they weren't really the one in charge, the director, the writer, the producer, etc. Given my job, I would be extremely hypocritical if I was unwilling to talk to the press about something I made. Remember, the overwhelm...
What do you want, James?
I brought you some flowers.
Flowers? I don't want any damn flowers. Just go home already.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look, I'm disgusting. I don't deserve flowers. Between the disease and the drugs, I look like a monster. Well, what are you looking at? Get the hell out of here! Leave me alone already! I'm no use to anyone. I'll be dead soon anyway. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It'd be easier if they'd just kill me. But I guess the hospital is making a nice profit off me. They want to keep me alive. Are you still here? I told you to go! Are you deaf? Don't come back! James! Wait! Please don't go! Stay with me! Don't leave me alone! I didn't mean what I said! Please, James! Tell me I'll be okay! Tell me I'm not going to die! Help me!
I'll give you that. That's actually effective. And no, Madman Robbie. Black Licorice is kind of its own specific thing. I have lost all respect for this game, and it will never return again. But, that's not... That's a different thing. Yeah, time to corridor length, and... nice little... thing there. Where's my frickin' review page? There it is. Well, see, the problem is, black licorice by definition means something that I can intellectually understand that other people like, but I can't process because it's so vomitously horrible to me. I can see why people like Silent Hill too. Like, I can get it. I don't agree, but I can get it. And let's do this. Yeah, that's coffee. That's the definition of coffee. And here's the rain. Which probably symbolizes grief because it's the simplest answer possible. That's a real thing, by the way, Madman Robbie. I forget who, but somebody looked it up and I was like, oh, that's... oh, okay. You know, honestly, I'm not sure they know the answer to that, Madman Robbie. For the reasons I already mentioned. Alright, final boss time. I'm going to save here.
Mary?
When will you ever stop making that mistake? Mary's dead. You killed her.
Maria?
Touch angle!
But I don't need you anymore.
What? You must be joking. But I can be yours. I'll be here for you forever. And I'll never yell at you or make you feel bad. That's what you wanted. I'm different than Mary. How can you throw me away?
I understand now.
Touch angle!
End this nightmare.
No, I won't let you. You deserve to die too, James.
Moth attack! Moth attack! Terrifying of all enemies. Shoot! Ah! Shoot! Ah! More moths! Yeah, this is a pretty bad. By the way, we're in the outro, so I guess I should lock down the guessing game. One heal. Oh yeah, I forgot to read this. My dearest Laura, I'm leaving this with Rachel to give to you after I'm gone. I'm far away now in a quiet, beautiful place. Please forgive me for not saying goodbye before I left. Be well. Don't be too hard on the sisters. And about James, I know you hate him because you think he isn't nice to me, but please give him a chance. It's true he may be a little surly sometimes and he doesn't laugh much, but underneath he's really such a sweet person. I love you like my own daughter. If things worked differently, I was hoping to adopt you. But he's actually murdering me as we speak. Oh, it's even worse than you think, Evo. Because we're not done once we kill this stupid thing. There is no end to our suffering. That's the last of our ammo right there. Go away. Did you know, by the way, that in between the load time of pausing, enemies can still move and interact? I've actually noticed that the whole game. It's actually a semi-common thing. It's really irritating. like how this is basically a recycled boss design? It's just the earlier ceiling graboid things with a moth attack. Time.
James.
Wait, what? Oh. You know what? I know what I'm gonna do.
James.
Sorry, that's time.
Mary?
James.
Forgive me.
I must murder you. It's the only way.
I told you that I wanted to die, James. I wanted the pain to end.
That's why I did it, honey. I just couldn't watch you suffer. No. That's not true. You also said you didn't want to die. The truth is, I hated you. I wanted you out of the way. I wanted my life back.
James, if that were true, then why do you look so sad?
Mary?
James, please. Please do something for me. Go on with your life. In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you. Waiting for you to come to see me. But you never do. And so I wait, wrapped in my cocoon of pain and loneliness. I know I've done a terrible thing to you. Something you'll never forgive me for. I wish I could change that. But I can't. I feel so pathetic and ugly laying here, waiting for you. Every day I stare up at the cracks in the ceiling, and all I can think about is how unfair it all is. The doctor came today. He told me I could go home for a short stay. It's not that I'm getting better. It's just that this may be my last chance. I think you know what I mean. Even so, I'm glad to be coming home. I've missed you terribly. But I'm afraid, James. I'm afraid you don't really want me to come home. Whenever you come see me, I can tell how hard it is on you. I don't know if you hate me or pity me. Or maybe I just disgust you. I'm sorry about that. First learned that I was going to die. I just didn't want to accept it. I was so angry all the time, and I struck out at everyone I loved most. Especially you, James. That's why I understand if you do hate me. But I want you to know this, James. I'll always love you. Even though our life together had to end like this, I still wouldn't trade it for the world. We had some wonderful years together. Well, this letter has gone on too long, so I'll say goodbye. I told the nurse to give this to you after I'm gone. That means that as you read this, I'm already dead. I can't tell you to remember me, but I can't bear for you to forget me. These last few years since I became ill, I am so sorry for what I did to you, did to us. You've given me so much, and I haven't been able to return a single thing. That's why I want you to live for yourself now. Do what's best for you, James. James, you made me happy.
Okay, there's no cops in Silent Hill. I mean, statistically speaking, I would say James had probably read that letter before he went to Silent Hill. I would also say that there's about 100% chance that James came here to kill himself, ironically. Based on evidence, I would say the town didn't call him. Whoa, whoa. Jesus Christ. Ah! That is extremely loud. Jump scare! Ah! Anyways. Go ahead and lock this down while we're at it. Yeah, that... I do, Madman Robbie. I think that's the moment it was just... That was the snap, you know? Yeah, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be flickering like that. Cool. Well, I'm actually fast forwarding it. It probably can't tell because the PS2 doesn't handle fast forwarding very well. Oh my god, come on. Oh wow. Almost 40 stars. I'm actually shocked by that. Let's see. So, we got the leave ending, obviously. 16 saves. 9 hours, 51 minutes. 7 clicks walked. 16 clicks ran. Man, we're in shape now. Got 187 items. Killed 5 enemies by shooting. I think that's like all bosses. Defeat enemies by fighting. 94. Boat stage time. 3 minutes. Boat max speed. 2 meters per second. Oh, gotcha, Darkrai. That makes sense. Hey, there's this Born from Wish thing. We're not doing that. Beginner. Turbo easy. Where's the New Game Plus mode? I swear there's a New Game Plus mode. Nope, we're just going right to the mirror. Oh, that sucks. We'll just pause that there. That's a good shot. So this game sucks. No, I'm sorry. No, I owe you some endings. So let's see. So we apparently got leave, so we can skip that one. So that was the best ending apparently. Let's go with the worst ending. So the leave ending we will refer to as the Laura ending. Now we will have the Maria ending. Or I guess, no, actually, excuse me. No, yeah. Sorry, this is actually the Eddie ending.
James, I've been waiting.
Mary. I'm sorry it took so long.
Didn't you want to see me?
Yes, I wanted to see you. Even an illusion of you. That's why I came here.
It's not true, is it? You killed me.
I couldn't watch you suffer.
Don't make excuses, James. I know I was a burden on you. You must have hated me. That's why you got rid of me.
It's true. I may have had some of those feelings. It was a long 3 years. I was tired.
That's why you needed this Maria person? James, do you really think I could ever forgive you for what you did?
Make my monster grow! Fight to me, fight to me, fight to me, fight. Oh, looks like we skipped the fight. Never mind, we're good. We're good.
James.
Time to die.
You killed Mary again?
So casual about it. Again? Yeah.
That wasn't Mary.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Mary's gone. That was just something I... Maria? Maria,
What, James?
I want you. I want you with me.
Are you sure?
Oh man, I'm so sure. I want that succubus.
Come on. Let's get out of here.
Because she's a friggin' succubus.
What about Mary?
What about Mary?
It's okay. I have you.
And you're so much better. Sounds like the name of a show. My Succubus Girlfriend. Yeah, like twice, Lenareth.
In my restless dreams, I see that town.
So I think this is like the same letter, isn't it?
Oh, I've missed you terribly.
Oh, it's a different letter? It is a different letter. Ah, fine, whatever.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill.
Is this the same letter? Ah, whatever. Same letter, moving on.
Me happy.
Oh man, you made me happy, James. And then you moited me. I bet he didn't read it in this one, Mr. Red. Yeah, no, this is the worst ending. This is the ending in which your interpretation of events is that he is a truly horrible human being who murdered his wife because she was no longer good enough for him. And so he goes here, replaces his wife with I keep on her succubus, with a delusion of her.
You'd better do something about that cough.
Yeah, enough said, right there. You better do something about that cough. Yeah, no, we all know where that ending's going. Cycle repeats, nothing's learned, moving on. Then we have the best ending, 2001, Ross.
Mary?
Better question. Does he leave the town at all in that delusion?
Wrong again. Mary's dead. You killed her.
Maria? Maria, I'm done with you.
What do you mean? But I can be yours. I'll be here for you forever. And I'll never yell at you or make you feel bad. That's what you wanted.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So then we kill her again. I mean, In Waters fits the tone of the game. This is why I hate it, of course. Even though it's the most realistic ending. I mean, again, he came here to die.
Mary?
James.
Now, I happen to know this conversation's different. Oh, I do, Madman Roby.
Forgive me.
Robbie. But I'm not a fan.
I told you that I wanted to die, James. I wanted the pain to end.
Yeah, we've already seen it, Literal.
That's why I did it, honey. I just couldn't watch you suffer. No. That's not the whole truth. You also said that you didn't want to die. The truth is, part of me hated you for taking away my life.
You killed me, and you're suffering for it. It's enough, James.
Mary?
James.
And she's dead. Again. It's okay. I know now what I must do. There is only one possible choice.
Now I understand the real reason I came to this town. I wonder, what was I afraid of? Without you, Mary, I've got nothing.
Remember, she's in the back seat of the car.
Now we can be together.
Sploosh.
In my restless dreams,
Blah, blah, blah,
I see
blah,
that
blah,
town.
blah.
Silent.
Been able to return a single thing.
I'm actually weirded out how much
That's
they
why I want
they
you to
censor
live
that.
for yourself now.
In fact, that's apparently it. Wow, these endings are not very good. Okay, I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, actual suicide. Anyways, and now we have, of course, the best possible ending.
James.
Maria, I'm finished with you.
What? But I'm what you wanted. Mary's dead. Don't you understand?
Three
She's
more,
not
Eva.
coming back. But I can be yours. I'll be here for you forever. I'll never hurt you like she did. So why don't you want me?
Because you're not Mary. Without Mary, I just can't go on.
Oh, James. Come on, James. You must be joking.
James.
Mary, you look so peaceful. Forgive me for waking you. But without you, I just can't go on. I can't live without you, Mary. This town, Silent Hill, The old gods haven't left this place. And they still grant power to those who venerate them. Power to defy even death.
I foresee no possible problems with this ending.
Very.
So that was the best ending, obviously. Hang on. Sorry, who are you? Have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair. What are you talking about? Anyway, listen, have you seen my wife? Her name's Mary. Ah! Thumbs up. The end. This is a real ending that's actually in the game. I don't actually know the requirements for this one because most speedrunners I know go for the other ending. Once again, this is a real ending that is actually in the game.
お前の仕業だったのか?
It was all your work. The end. I mean, this is the best ending. No, Eddie. I guess he was a dog murderer. Anyways. So, you have to be on a New Game Plus playthrough. You have to when you go to Rosewater Park, you have to find something nearby. You have to grab a key from a doghouse, which didn't spawn in a regular playthrough. Then you have to visit the hotel, watch the video, and then you have to find the observation room, I think. Something like that. I don't remember the exact specifics of that. Whoops. Ah! Stop! There we go. Silent Hill, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, behold the super secret document that no one's allowed to see by just typing exclamation mark in chat. Okay, so I made a joke earlier before the game started, and it was partially a joke and partially not. I played this song. Now, the way it's a joke is obvious. But the way it's not a joke is... Die, Evo's ears! Okay, I'll stop playing. Just for you, let's play something appropriate to the tone of this game.
It's me, Mario.
So... I've actually encountered this quite a bit in my life. Oh, 100% Judo Joker. Yes, I do actually think that. So here's the thing, right? How many of you have something that you know about, even though you've never watched it, read it, or played it? Usually we refer to this as cultural osmosis. But this is actually kind of a step past that, right? This is when you might actually have an opinion on something, regardless of the fact that you've never played, watched, read the work in question. And so, like... No, yeah, you could probably see where I'm getting. I could give other examples of this. Some people like to hold up certain things as examples of things, even though they've never played them themselves, because they've heard that idea, they've heard other people talking about that idea, and so what they're doing is they're agreeing with the idea someone else talked to, but they haven't actually played the thing, watched the thing, read the thing, right? Now again, I've been as part of the analysis scene for decades at this point, so I encounter this thing pretty frequently. I myself am a victim of this. It's something I have encountered many times where I am aware of a twist or an analysis, or something says this is the best at such and such, or this is the greatest in this other specific category. I'm actually kind of speaking vaguely on purpose because a lot of this is spoilery, but even from a gameplay perspective, this is the kind of thing you tend to see repeated over and over and over, right? Now, in some cases you go through and the work in question actually fulfills on the premise in question. And in some cases, it does not. I actually think that Silent Hill 2 is a case of a not. I don't think this is a very good game. I think it lucked into being something that people could draw something from it. That it was sufficiently empty on the page that they were able to, you know, interpret something from it and take something from it and walk away with it. I myself, just to give a direct example of what I'm talking to, already had a write-up, a brief write-up, on my own analysis on the 3 principal endings, having never seen them. Just to name an explicit example of that. I'm tempted to throw that analysis out the window, because the endings themselves were so threadbare as to barely support the conclusions I came to. Because all those conclusions are based on what other people have said across other people's analysis and other people talking about it, right? So, I think Silent Hill is very much a victim of this, and that's not just because I literally got a comment from someone who was talking about it, who has never actually played the game, but was talking about it in a positive light with regards to themes and story and etc. Now, I do think there's... I've noticed a lot of people clown on the remake. How does this tie into your theme? Well, because on the one hand, haha, joke, but on the other hand, I don't think this is a very good game. Mr. Red said something last night, which kind of stuck with me. Credit to Mr. Red for this. He said that this is an interesting first game kind of situation, where this could have been a blueprint for how games could have done horror, and by all accounts, haven't. That games have tried to chase Silent Hill 2 without understanding what made it stick for people. And people have looked at this and said, oh, we need to do this or we need to do that, without actually processing why certain things work. No one ever sat down and did an analysis of what works in Silent Hill 2 and why, and instead just kind of either did their own thing or chased some completely other thing, right? Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus falls into this as well. Like, imagine, just picture this for a moment. Imagine a game in which the controls are actually quite good, but the combat is very deliberately clunky and bad to emphasize the fact that you suck in combat, that you're not supposed to engage in combat, that it's not a combat-focused game. Or imagine a game in which the game deliberately frames things in multiple lights with specific changes in specific bits of dialogue, so that you, the player, can then interpret it in the manner that you wanted to, etc., etc., etc. There's ways they could have taken this formula and actually developed and expounded upon it. And instead, again, admittedly from the perspective of an outsider, that hasn't really happened. I will say this, I will go ahead and share something that I do think the game gets credit for, and I did actually give it a positive for this in the outro. It's this amazing song that's playing right now. There. The Maria ending, right? The ending where we go and we move on with her is clearly Eddie's thing. We surrender to our base instincts and we decide, no, this is cool. No problems, no development, no growth, no punishment, just status quo. So that's the bad ending, obviously. Angela, as much as I never want to acknowledge that she exists again, is the water ending. Giving in to the idea of being a victim, accepting the guilt and accepting punishment for sins. Okay, cool. Laura is the leave ending. This one was actually the most interesting one to me because the whole idea is that he leaves. That's why it's called that. None of that's in the ending, but the idea is that he leaves and moves on with his life, which of course is the kind of thing that can only be done when you have a completely fresh start. Sure. But the thing I wanted to comment on is there's an interesting detail variance between in the suicide ending. No, Judo Joker. I mean, we actually did talk about it earlier. It was probably just tears or grief or whatever. I'm sure they didn't even know the answer to that question. So there's a little detail, and I actually wrote this down. In the suicide ending, the conversation between him and Mary goes like this. No, that's not the whole truth. You also said you didn't want to die. The truth is, part of me hated you for taking away my life. Now, the way that's phrased is probably the only line of dialogue in the entire game that's actually well localized. So, it's not the whole truth. You also wanted this. Part of me hated you. All of those are, it's slanting. It's something people do without even realizing it. It's something they do when they're trying to diminish their culpability in something. I didn't really mean this. This wasn't really what I wanted. I mean, I kind of did. I kind of took the cookies from the cookie jar. What do you mean you kind of took them? You reached your hand and... No, I mean, I sort of wanted them. You know, we do that kind of slanting to kind of add a little bit of language there to make it seem softer. In other words, in the suicide ending, he doesn't fully accept culpability for what he did. He's also focusing on himself. The way he says... I hated you for taking away my life, which specifically frames her as a problem for taking his life, focusing on him, right? Let's look at the other ending, which is the leave ending. And that the dialogue goes like this. No, that's not true. You also said you didn't want to die. The truth is I hated you. I wanted you out of the way. I wanted my life back. Notice how flat that is. No obfuscation, no denial, no attempt to slant in any way, shape, or form. I did it. It's my fault. I wanted my life back. The difference between these two things is entirely internal. And that is, of course, the distinction, the idea, and the one thing I will actually give the endings of this game is that the whole reason the leave ending is the good ending is because it's the only ending in which James actually accepts what he did, straight up faces it and embraces it with no hesitation and with no anything else. I did this. End statement. No trying to couch it in light terms. No trying to smooth over it. I did this. The end. And that's why that's the good ending, and that's why he leaves. Because given the way that Silent Hill is portrayed within this particular game, it can't do anything more to him at that point in time. The town is only a mirror. It can only actually reflect what you bring into it. And he has removed things out of it. So now it has nothing to reflect, and he just can leave. By contrast, when he is still refusing to fully accept what he did, he is crushed by it, and he commits suicide. Or he completely gives in to the delusion and goes off with a succubus wife for about 3 years before he's got to repeat the cycle. This is also tying into what I mentioned earlier, the idea that the majority of this game and its 3 endings is the 3 principal interpretations the game allows of what kind of person James is and how his relationship is with his wife. I will not give my analysis or interpretation of that because it doesn't matter. The whole point is that it's up to you. You decide which exact version and flavor of James exists. Did he really love his wife? Was he emotionally crushed by it? Was he just a selfish prick? Was he someone who snapped and had an in the heat of the moment kind of a thing? That's up to you. That's the point. And I think it's another thing that a lot of games do really, really, really badly. And I will actually give this game credit on that one front. And I did actually give it a positive for this. And that it is properly interpretive, in my opinion. Anyways, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right, so let's go ahead and review this sucker, shall we? As I think I mentioned, I already did the audit off camera. So let's look at this sucker, shall we? I'm sorry, I need some kind of music. Is that okay? Because my brain is slowly drilling a hole in my skull right now. Here, I'll put on an appropriately depressing soundtrack. How's that sound? Hang on. No, not Idiozard. Where is it? Oh, it's down here, isn't it? Yep, there it is. Oh, right. I promised you. I didn't, did I? Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. I didn't promise you jack. Chaos. Also, one last thing I want to give as a takeaway. Obviously, the gameplay of this game is not what I would call good. I knew that walking in. Everybody knew that walking in. Nobody expected the gameplay to score particularly well. What surprised me the most is how well it scored. I kept seeing legitimately good aspects of good gameplay and being blown away by it. We talked about the color distinction earlier, for example. And it was just like, oh, they have heard of game design. I'm sorry, I know that sounds insulting, but I mean, I've got over 400 games in my belt at this point. You would be shocked how many times, or rather you wouldn't be shocked how many times, games just kind of throw the gameplay out there because they're focused entirely on the story. And you figure a horror game is going to be leaning in that direction. Actually, I tried earlier, Spartan. Did not succeed. Plus 11 to story. Minus 6 to gameplay. So let's go ahead and do some numbers, shall we? Kind of in a hurry here. Kind of, yeah, Magneto. Like, it's there, and it's better than you'd think, but at the same time, I mean, I keep comparing this game to Drakengard. I'm starting to think that really is a very apt comparison point. Yeah, exactly. Which is funny, because from what I understand, Konami made a lot of corporate Silent Hill games after this. I don't know which ones, obviously I'm not familiar with the series, but that is what I've heard consistently. Final story score is plus 11. That is 0.84 pluses per hour. Not too shabby, actually, all things considered. A ratio of 65.71%. That's actually not good. That's below average. But it's still better than 0. It's still better than 50, so we're still going good. Gameplay is -6, which, again, is better than I was expecting. That's negative 0.46 per hour. And a 40% ratio. Giving us our final golden number of... I get a drum roll, please. Where's the guessing game? Who got this? Nine. I'm sorry. I don't even know why I find that so funny. It's net positive. It's net positive. Offshore Twitch account wins that one. A lot of people forget that Neth... Oh, I'm going to get crucified for that. This is one of the most beloved games of all time. 9. Oh, man. Where was that? Scribblenauts. Simpsons, Hit and Run. And Time Splitters. Yeah, I'm gonna get lynched for this. But no, yeah, I actually agree. Like, final thoughts. I've given my ending analysis. I mentioned the thing about knowing something via cultural analysis rather than actually playing it. I feel like this. I feel like, let me put this, because I actually talked about this last night. I feel like this should have been the Mega Man 2 of Silent Hill, and from what I understand, it is not. This should have been the first time that they started figuring out what they're doing, codified what the series is about, figured out the format, figured out the approach, and then polished that sucker afterwards. For those of you not aware of the comparison point, Mega Man 2 is arguably the first Mega Man game, for all the reasons I just mentioned. It's still a pretty flawed and problematic game, right? It didn't score that well, because it's not that great of a game. And Mega Man games got a whole lot better afterwards, as Mega Man 4, 5, 6, and then 8, and then 11 really took it and ran with it, right? So, like, this would have been really awesome if Silent Hill 2 was the Mega Man 2 of Silent Hill, and people just took this and ran with it, like I said earlier. And from everything I understand, that is not the case. I've heard multiple people say that Silent Hill 3 is good. I have no idea, obviously. We'll see. Apparently Silent Hill F is coming out this year, I think? It's the new one. I don't know details. I just heard 5 seconds ago the voices are telling me to turn the ship around and go back to Earth, and that Silent Hill 3 is good. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this has at least been a worthwhile experience for what little I have to add to the table. I'm gonna go ahead and chop off. I have some paperwork to do to get this set up, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the next game. So, see you around.